time, the ever-flowing river. Come with us now to a time before Universal started making bad decisions with their theme parks, and their company was still fresh with ideas of attractions and their imagination ruled the lot. Welcome to Jurassic Jungle Boat Ride.
This is a really stupid idea.
Jurassic Park arrived in theaters in 1993, and the ride based on the movie debuted in Universal Studios Hollywood in only a couple short years in 1996. The opening saw the likes of Steven Spielberg and Jeff Goldblum in attendance, apparently the only two people that wanted to associate themselves with Jurassic Park. Now, I have to say I'm a little biased on this ride, as Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I absolutely love this ride, even before I saw the movie. It's easily my favorite attraction in all of Universal Studios. I find that it actually covers a lot of themes and aspects of the movie better than most other movie-based attractions. After 2 decades of operation though, Universal decided to close the ride to make way for a new ride based on Jurassic World. So to celebrate, I guess, the closing of the ride, this is a video detailing the history of Jurassic Park the ride, but only in Universal Studios Hollywood. I'll save River Adventure for another time. Work began on Jurassic Park the ride even before pre-production on the movie. In fact, they even put in some of the concept art for the ride in the movie, as seen in the boardroom scene. Now that's just plain movie magic right there, folks. Steven Spielberg also looked over a lot of the ride as they were designing it and building it. And I'm just taking a guess here with this, but I like to think that because they were filming some scenes, mainly the T-Rex paddock scene, on Universal's sound stages in Hollywood, they'd simply walk over during breaks of filming to see how the construction was going. Here's the weird thing though. You know how I said that work on the ride predates work on the movie? Well, the movie came out in 1993, the ride opened in 1996, the book that all of this is based off came out in 1990. That means that Jurassic Park the ride took 6 years to make. Yes, I know theme park attractions take a while to make, but 6 years of work on one ride. Granted, this may be because they are making the movie and want to see what would come of it for inspiration, but that's still insane that Universal would spend that amount of time working on it. Like, couldn't they have just waited until after they started filming? The movie took 3 years to make, and it's obvious they wouldn't have opened the ride at the same time as when the movie would have come out. So, rather than how long they took seeming impressive, it just seems like a giant waste of time. Evidently, Steven Spielberg did actually tell Universal that the book Jurassic Park would make a great ride, and that they should make one, but they didn't exactly make a ride version of the book. They made a ride version of the movie. That'd be like saying the Harry Potter rides are based on the books. There is one small similarity to the book Jurassic Park that the ride shares. The ride is a water-based boat ride similar to Splash Mountain. The book also has a predominant scene with Grant, Tim, and Lex on a boat going down a river being pursued by a T-Rex. I would have to say that this is probably the only similar aspect that both the ride and book share, besides their namesake and whatever similarities they share because of the movie. Jurassic Park, both movie and ride, share something similar with another Universal theme park attraction, with the Studio Tour in Hollywood, and more specifically the Confrontation section of that ride. At the time of Confrontation's opening, it had the largest and most sophisticated animatronic ever created with their King Kong animatronic. This made Steven Spielberg think that, hey, if they can make a giant gorilla seem lifelike and real, why not give it a shot with dinosaurs? That train of thought would not only go and inspire him to make the movie, but also fuel the capabilities of what the theme park attraction could do.
What do they got in there, King Kong?
As any Jurassic Park fan worth their weight in amber knows, a lot of the scenes with dinosaurs used animatronics. Similarly, all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park the ride are animatronics. Am I trying to make connections that aren't really there? Yes, absolutely, 100%, no doubt about it. But the way they used animatronics is actually somewhat revolutionary. just like the CGI used in the movie. Okay, I'm done, I'll stop trying to connect things. Unlike regular theme park rides, which are often housed in show buildings, Jurassic Park the ride is, or was, actually set outdoors for a majority of the ride. And for those that don't know, animatronics are given a rubber skin to go over top of them to act as a flesh and hide any mechanics that are underneath. But rubber doesn't exactly hold up all that well when experiencing the same harsh Californian weather conditions day in and day out. Mix that with being tugged and pulled all the time from the animatronics moving, and you'll find that same rubber cracking or breaking way easier than it really should. So engineers at Universal theme parks created a special type of mixture for the rubber to make it last longer, specially designed for Jurassic Park. The animatronics that were originally created for the ride were also some of the best ever created and most advanced for a while, as they had to not be affected by the water in the ride. They were almost on scale with what the movie created, except with the movie some shortcuts could be made that you would never notice, while the ride had to create every detail on the animatronics or else riders would notice, along with performing to max capability 16 hours a day and 7 days a week. It's no wonder that the animatronics started looking like crap by the end of the life, but that's for later on. So let's get right into the actual ride itself. Now, Universal isn't exactly known for their theming. I mean, come on, Disney absolutely has been beat there. But for the surrounding area of the ride and the actual ride itself, it's done pretty damn well. I mean, I can't say I was exactly immersed in the area surrounding the ride. As I was walking on a concrete floor and down the walkway I could see Transformers the ride, but, you know, it works. They have the iconic gates outside of the ride, which, as a huge Jurassic Park fan, made me so happy to see in real life. The gift shop also bears a striking resemblance to the main building from the movie, which is great, but the queue for the ride isn't all that, well, extraordinary. You're basically standing in a similar queue to Grizzly Rapids at Disney California Adventure, for those of you that have been there, minus the camping stuff. However, there is a video with Rich Attenborough reprising his role as John Hammond, explaining why on earth there'd be another Jurassic Park if the first one failed so badly.
Our Hollywood Park is better than ever and incorporates safety features that will ensure a Costa Rica incident could never happen again.
Wow. Can't believe Jurassic World actually ripped off the ride more than the movie version of Jurassic Park. So does this mean we'll have a video of Claire telling us why they made another Jurassic World even though more than 5 people died when she fucked up? After boarding your boats, you go up a hill and then make a turn covered by some moss, where we're given a voiceover by Richard Kiley of all people.
The voice you're now hearing is Richard Kiley. We spared no expense.
Playing off the whole the attraction actually exists in real Jurassic Park, this ride is actually structured in segments, and I don't mean simply story-wise. Rather, the ride has key points and areas, just like in the movie with the different paddocks. Except here they're cleverly named instead of just simply what dinosaurs inside, like Stegosaurus Springs or Hadrosaur Cove.
The eighth wonder of the world, ladies and gentlemen, it's the backside of water! There it is, folks, the backside of water!
We then make our way to the aforementioned Hadrosaur Cove, but we see another boat that's crashed. The dinosaur steers us off course and ruins the safety precautions built into the park. We then pass the now open raptor pen along with the famous screeches the animals inside produce. Another boat that's crashed is spotted with a Dilophosaurus chewing someone's poncho and a hilarious jab at Disney. And we narrowly dodge a... Oh right, the Ford Explorer sometimes doesn't drop. It just sorta sits there. After a surprise attack from Dilophosauruses, we then enter the pump station building and start taking a long ride up, along with the escaped raptors falling through the ceiling grates that appear more like actual raptors sizing-wise. When the vehicle arrives at the top, there's a short drop, and riders are soon threatened by a T-Rex trying to come through the ceiling. Then there's an announcement saying that the building's life support will stop working in 15 seconds.
Life systems will terminate in 15 seconds. 10, 9.
Wait, those announcements were clearly not 5 seconds apart. After that, it's followed by a human telling us that 5. With a life-size T-Rex lunging through the waterfall and then us narrowly escaping down a 51-degree, 80-foot drop.
These boats are plunging 82 feet, 84, 82 feet, 84, 82, 84 feet.
On this 83-foot drop.
It's not going to get everyone really wet. You'll be absolutely drenched.
With one last surprise from a Dilophosaurus at the end, and a cameo from the Barbasol can. How nice of him to show up. We then end the ride and exit through the gift shop. There's also a rumor with this ride, that when Steven Spielberg went to ride it, he'd actually get off right before the drop, just so he wouldn't have to go down it. Jurassic Park also had a few variations within its life cycle, namely the Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. During the end scene in the building, they would play Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses at the end. And because Jurassic Park was set outdoors, lights were installed on the attraction so riders could still experience the attraction at night. And, in some cases, already existing light effects stood out way more than when they previously used them during the day. Jurassic Park the movie already fooled and immersed people into believing that dinosaurs could be real. But because the ride broke that barrier between movie and reality, it allowed riders to truly feel like they were walking with dinosaurs, I mean riding alongside dinosaurs. From this, it also emphasizes one of Steven Spielberg's aspects with the Jurassic Park movie, being the awe and wonder and coming so close with these ancient creatures. Along with the suspense of the raptor pen and especially the concluding scene with the final fall, I feel that Jurassic Park the ride does a much better job of adapting a movie into a ride rather than other attractions such as the Forbidden Journey or even Disney's own Indiana Jones. I know, heresy of the highest order, but with better animatronics, theming, and set piece design, I feel that Jurassic Park the ride could easily eat Disney's most well-known positive. No, not like that. Unfortunately, every ride has their downfalls, and with Jurassic Park, it was Universal's lack of will to upkeep the ride. Yeah, every once in a while they may close the ride for refurbishments, but it was nothing to actually improve the ride. And I just want to make sure that people know this, but when I say that the animatronics downgraded significantly over the years, I'm not talking about the comparison between promo material dinosaurs and actual ride dinosaurs. Of course the promotional dinosaurs are going to look good. It's expected. It's to get people hyped to get on the ride and to boost ticket sales. No, I mean looking at actual original footage from when the ride first opened and comparing it to today. You can clearly see that the dinosaurs are very, very slow. But let's not even look at animatronics now. Let's just look at some details about the ride that just got so bad. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Things are missing. I just don't understand why. And here are a few of these details. Skins of the dinosaurs were slowly toned more and more cartoony over the years rather than the realistic skins they are given upon opening. The Ford sometimes falls and sometimes doesn't. The sparking effect on the raptor's pen is now non-existent. And last but not least, the Dilophosauruses wouldn't even spray their venom or even pop up a lot of the time. Admittedly, I understand that maybe not having a car fall onto riders is a great idea just in case something happens and it actually crushes people, or maybe it isn't the most cost-effective thing ever to constantly repair and create new animatronics all the time. But there's also just little things that over the years became more and more apparent with the ride. For some reason, it seemed by the end of its life, Universal increased a lot of the lighting and made it way easier to see the rails and other apparatuses used to hold the animatronics and move them. To be fair, it may be that the only reason we can see such things in videos about the ride is because the quality of video has improved drastically over the years. But I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the case due to the quality of the ride near the end. Another thing that Jurassic Park just couldn't seem to get right is the water and fog effects. Sometimes they would work, and other times they wouldn't. Sometimes there'd be too much, or barely at all. Mix that in with the aging animatronics and just the general lack of upkeep, it really hurt the ride in the long run. And once again, I know there may be a financial or business reason for why everything turned out the way it did at the end. But it doesn't mean I can't complain and whine about it on YouTube. I mean, come on, Defunctland turned his entire career into it. This ride feels like an E3 version of a game versus when the actual game comes out, with the older version of the ride being the E3 version. Consumers are treated with this grand and immersive version of something, but slowly it starts to devolve and become less than what it was originally supposed to be. I feel like for the people that haven't known the older version of either comparison, they wouldn't know what they were missing out on. They'd probably think that what they got was great. But with the people that know what no longer exists, it's hard to miss what used to be. I know I've really been harping on Universal for the way they've treated this ride. It made it sound like it was worse than what it really is, but it's how I honestly feel about the ride now. If you asked me 9 years ago when I first rode it, I would tell a totally different story. I would have told you in my 9-year-old voice that this was one of the scariest rides ever. But I needed to ride it again to see that T-Rex because I closed my eyes. And maybe that's what the general public thinks about Jurassic Park, the ride. But it's hard for people like me to just simply overlook what has happened. Well, now we're getting a new ride based on Jurassic World, as I've mentioned before. Universal has said that it'll be in the same spirit as Jurassic Park, meaning that it will be a boat ride. I'm not sure how you can make screens work with a boat ride, but it has been said they will also use animatronics like in the original ride, except that it'll probably be an Indominus Rex instead of a Tyrannosaurus one. I'm hopeful for this new ride and hopes it lives up to the expectations of the original. It'll be a tall order to fill, but with the recent news about the new Harry Potter ride in Orlando with its use of animatronics, I sincerely hope that they blow the old ride right out of the water.